Morning students, hope you are well at your home. Be safe. Okay, we are in emergency situation. That's why we have chosen the digital platform for your class, because when you are at home, so you are not able to attend the class regularly, but it is necessary to complete the syllabus, as because the semester is coming very fast. So when we are able to overcome this emergency situation, there may be semester exam knocking at our door. So be prepared from your home. So we have chosen this digital platform, and always college is with you. So uh, so all respect, we are trying to overcome this emergency situation, and all of us with the student. Good morning students, we are starting our next class, that is unit 4, which contain arrays. So first we should know what is array. An array is a collection of similar type of data. So it means there are 5 integer number. That means the array contain all integers number. Array can hold series of data. Array can hold series of data of similar type. In contiguous manner or contiguous memory location. That's why array is also called linear data structure. So how do you declare it? How do you declare an array? In very simple way. As example, int a5, That means int is the data type, A is here the data array name, and within this third bracket we have mentioned the size of the array. Size of array. Similarly, if we write char ch10, so char is the data type, character data type, ch is the character array name, and 10 is the size of this character array. So syntax of declare an array is first write data type, then the array name, then the size. Now we should know why we need the array. Consider we want to find out the average of 100 integer numbers entered by user. So there are two options. First define 100 variables with integer data type and 100 scanf we require to store the entered values in the variables. Then at last we are able to calculate the average. So this will be a long process. So there are some disadvantage we are facing if we are following the first process. So to overcome this disadvantage, what we are doing, we just declare a single integer array to store all the values. Next, start the loop, the array, to store all the entered values in array and later calculate the average. Next, we should know how to access elements of an array in C programming. So, we can use array subscript or index to access any element stored in an array. Subscript or index start with 0, which means A0 represents the first element of the array A. So, in this way, n-1 can be used to access the nth element of an array, where n is any integer number. Now for an example, we can see int a 5, a is the array name, 5 is the size. So in the memory, data are stored in the following manner. So look here, this array stored the 5 elements 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, but the index or subscript is starting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is the representation of 1D array, that means the one-dimensional array. And here the array A contains the 5 integer value. Okay. Now here we can face one question, that is why array index starts from 0, because we know that the array elements are stored in consecutive memory location. So for this example, the array A starts it from 0, that means the first element or the starting element address is at 0 distance away, and the next element is I distance away from the start element. So in this way we are represents the element with the address value. So it is this representation also mapped into the memory also, so memory can easily understand. Yes, from the 0th address value we these values are stored. That's why we are start the index from 0. So in this way we are able to declare an array and stored the elements too. As because this is we are mentioning here only one size, that's why this is called the one dimensional array. There is another way of one dimensional array declaration, that is int ARR5. So ARR is the array name, 5 is the size, and within the second bracket we are able to write the value of the array. That means this representation is not the user input value. These values are fixed. We are not able to change. There would be the another representation int ARR. The size is blank here, and within second bracket we are put the value. Here one problem we are faced, that is uninitialized array always contains the garbage value. So we are not taking this representation. There may be possible we are taking this kind of representation and this too, but this kind of representation is not acceptable. Now we see an example of array in C programming, where we find out the average of 4 integers. So we start coding in C programming, that is has include str.h int main. Now we are declare here int num4. Here num is the array name and 4 is the size. As because we mentioned the size, so we have to take the integer number only 4. We are able to take the 4 integer value. Next x, I and sum equal to 0. As because we have to find out the average of 4 integer, so we require the sum of 4 integer value, then we are able to find out the average. So we declare the average in float and we assign it equal to 0. Next printf how many integer. Next scanf, then the %t and %x. So we are able to take the input integer value number. Input integer value by using this scanf, and this x we have to write the input value equal to 4, as because the array size we have mentioned the 4. If we write instead of 4 maybe 10, maybe 20, maybe 50, then the less amount of integer number we want to input as integer value. Okay, so in next on we have to take the user input integer value. So for that purpose we have start the for is also mention the subscript or index here. So we are written for I equal to 0 because we previously we learned that the subscript or index is start from the 0 and I is less than 4. Why it is I is less than 4? Because we are taking 4 integer value only. So if it is less than equal to 4 we have written, then we are able to put 5 integer number, but the problem is we have to sum the 4 integer value. So that's why less than 5, because I index start from 0. So if we want to put the 4 integer value, then I plus 3 is the address of the fourth value. Okay. So next we are using printf here and show the enter value at which position. That's why we are mentioned here enter the %dth value comma I. So here at which index we are put the user input value. User input value. Here the printf showing the user input value at which index number. Then after taking all the input value, sum, we are doing the sum equal to sum plus num plus I. Okay, and then the average of that sum. Now print the sum, then print the average of entered number. Okay, so let's take the output. So as per the program, how many integer 4. Okay, next enter the 0th value. We have put 5. Enter the 1th value. We have put 6. Enter the second value, that is 3. Enter the third value, that is 4. So sum equal to 18 and the average of the entered number is 4. Okay. So hopefully all of you have understood the array, including the one-dimensional array representation. Now we see one-dimensional array memory representation here. Suppose we are declare an array int arr5. Okay, that means this arr array contain the 5 value, and how it stored in the memory. So index is start from the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Always the index is less than 1 than the number of value, because it starts from the 0. So at the 0th position we have put the value 11, 1th position 22, 2nd position 3rd position 33, 4th position 44, and the 5th position is 55. And the memory, in the memory location, the address start from the 20. 88,820. Next is 88,824. Third is 88,828. Fourth is 88,832 and the fifth is 88,836. So here all the array elements occupy the contiguous memory location. Okay, the memory address difference here is equal to 4. Why? Because this array is of integer type and an integer holds all we know the 4 bytes of memory. So the address should be, the difference of the address should be the 4. And that's all. If any query, please feel free to message in the group.